It's been a long day. We're almost there, though, friends. One more Rally Cry halftime show before we're in Game 3 to decide who's going to be moving on and who's eliminated from our playoffs. And you guys, we're going to do a little run back, all right? You see what I have in my hand here?
Yeah.
Cards? They look different, though.
All right, so the beginning of that series, that game 2, I'm not going to lie, it was pretty slow.
It was.
So I ripped on over to the thrift store and I found another pack of tarot cards.
What do you know?
So I got a couple of new ones in there. It's an expansion pack, all right? So hopefully we get to see them. Yeah. But anyone who didn't watch our first series, we're going to pull some cards. One of the casters is going to ask a question and the other one is going to interpret it based off of the cards I give them, all right?
Great. All right. I'm ready.
All right. Perfect. Joshi, you went first last time, right? So Gabby, you get to ask the first question as I'm dropping cards. That's a bad way to start this off.
What does the expansion pack tarot deck have to say?
Let's see. I'm going to ask, what kind of game do you think Copy is going to have? Like, think about, what do you think is, KDA is going to be? KP?
Okay.
All right.
What are the tarot cards?
What do they say? Let's see if we got anything from expansion pack.
Salt Ocean. Oh no, that does not sound good for Copy, unfortunately. I mean, Copy's a pretty level-headed guy. For him to get salty, I'm a little bit worried this might not be the best KDA that we're going to be seeing coming out from Copy. I mean, even in that last game, he didn't get that many kills as KP. I think he ended the game 2-0 and 2 or something. Right, we got to see more than that. Those are rookie numbers, but this is the kind of thing that I feel like, oh man, it feels like APA might get the better of this one if it's really going to be a salt ocean.
What if?
What if?
There's salt in the ocean, and isn't it where there's more salt in water, you actually float more because of some of the way that works? I feel like I heard or read a thing.
There's something about brine pools in there, but I'm not a marine biologist.
I play too many video games to know any of this. I'm not gonna lie.
Something about that. So maybe APA gets to Copy so much in the early game, and then the salt levels rise so much, where then Copy is struggling, but then is able to keep in it because he's just keeping his head above water. So then right at the end gets enough of a play to then, make up for almost drowning.
So maybe there's a Nami angle.
Right? Like this. All right.
Yeah. There's some there.
Tarot card debate.
There's something. Okay, okay.
Let's go.
It's all about the reading, right? It tells us more about the player or about the person doing the reading than the cards themselves. All right.
I'll interpret it. So it's all good.
Which top laner is going to have a bigger impact on our next game?
Ooh.
Let's see. Nice. Expansion pack's delivering right now, honestly.
Oh, man. So I feel like maybe we see CLG really invest in the top side. So they're saying that, we really want Jenkins to do things because he's been really, really strong top laner. So we're going to throw the dice, maybe even lock in something earlier for Jenkins and take the risk. And what's going to happen is, and Bradley's kind of come through, been working on all of this play of playing tanks and really becoming a well-rounded player for the team. And then just put a stop. I am Ornn, I am Pick, I am insert pick here that just puts stop to says, I don't care what happens in lane and I'm really going to help the team later. And go, stop. And that's what's going to happen. So then Bradley is actually going to have more of an impact by suffocating the investment from CLG into Jenkins.
Wow. I mean, it's fascinating how opposite our reads have been from the cards. I see that, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, well, Bradley's the coin flipper or the dice roller, and if he's going to get stopped, then that feels like Jenkins is going to have to be the big bully. I mean, they've had a couple of good games from Jenkins. Doesn't really feel as though either top laner has been super crucial to either the wins or losses from either team, but maybe this is where Bradley goes for that coin flip, and Jenkins is here to put a stop to it.
Okay. Manufacturer's note, by the way. Shapes get a lot harder to draw when you're out of elementary school. I don't know what it is with this nonsense. The manufacturer was having a lot of difficulties, maybe why, thrift store, but yeah.
Hey, Miss Prince actually
Canadian.
usually have more value.
True.
How rare they are.
Canadian manufacturing, though.
All right. We're moving on from that. Thanks, Josh. All right. Next question for the cards.
Oh, Gabby's turn. Your turn to ask.
Oh, it's my turn. That's right. Which team do you think wins, but then how far do you think they make it? So if they win here, how far do they make it in the bracket?
All right, so it's a two-part question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a third card for that?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, let's go 3 cards. Let's go 3 cards.
All right.
See what happens. Taco? No. The cat, cook,
Dang,
and flour.
Hungry. Tacos and cooking. What?
Ooh.
Where'd you get taco from the cat, by the way?
Well, because I saw TH and then cook. Right, like put it back over.
Are you hungry?
Taco
Well, no, but look.
Taco's not spelled with
I'm not
TH.
crazy. Put the cook in front so that's TH cook.
That still doesn't spell taco.
No, not E, not E. Not E. Cover up the E too. See? It looks like taco.
No.
Taco.
How do you spell taco, Joshi?
THCO. I didn't pass elementary school. Anyway, the more important thing is what this says to me is no matter what, whoever wins here is going to at least get to play FlyQuest Challengers at some point, which means that in order to do that, they have to make, what is that? 1, 2, they have to make top 4. Whoever wins here is going to be able to make top 4 so they can play up against the flower team of FlyQuest. On the other hand, though, the cat and cook, how does that come into it? I mean, Masu was also the cat. He did wear cat ears in his first ever interview. So who's going to be cooking this one? Ooh, it definitely feels as though CLG, they've been putting in a slow stew, right? They've been slowly boiling it through that last game a little bit slower because they were constantly putting people in the pressure cooker waiting for things to come through. So honestly, I think we got to go back to the original thing. It feels as though CLG, when they win here, are going to make top 4 so they can play against FlyQuest.
Yeah, see, and they're still slow cooking. They're boiling that water so they can broil some of the chicken.
Throw some cats in there.
They can pull the chicken and make tacos.
Yes! Genius.
Yeah, the
cat
what was
tacos.
that?
The
Taco
tacos.
cats.
tacos.
Yep.
Tacos. That's how it is now.
Tacos.
Yep. Checks out. All right. Yoshi,
All right.
I believe this is your
Got
question.
another one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a little bit more time.
All right. We have Team Liquid Challengers and CLG Challengers.
You can make this a personal one if you want, because we're getting closer to the game.
What kind of benefits will our more veteran players see in this game?
Ooh, okay.
Benefits.
I almost dropped a card, which I think is a bad omen.
Uh-oh.
But we'll see what cards I actually pull from this, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Storm Cash.
Storm Cash.
All right. I think
Do it this way.
So-
Cash Storm sounds like
Cash
better.
Storm.
Cash Storm.
Cash Storm.
All right, then. I think a Cash Storm means that when we're looking at the benefits of veteran players like Arrow, that means Arrow's going to play Draven and really bring the Storm down to the bot lane and really benefit from the play and, what the rest of the team is going to do to make sure that Cash keeps raining on down.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. The money comes through. Gabby has spoken. We got a lot of more veteran players, too. I mean, Arrow is probably our most veteran player, but we also have, Jenkins, who has been around, has played some LCS before, and so we'll see. Can they put a stop to the dice rolling that Bradley's going to be doing?
That's what my other interpretation was, that Bradley is trying to come, if it's building off of yours of earlier, that being the dice roll and then Jenkins stopping, then Jenkins is just going to take all Cash opportunities away and just make sure to bring the sunshine and offset the rain.
Bring the sunshine.
Also, thanks to
to
Rally
make
Cry
the
for
rain go
tweeting
away.
the correct spelling of taco with me.
Hey,
HCO.
Tacos.
But there we go.
Someone send me
Tacos.
some right now.
Tacos. I would love some tacos.
Tacos would be great.
After a long day, but you gotta wait one more game to get your tacos. How do you?
Taco Sunday.
Yeah. Okay.
Saturday.
One more game. Everything on the line. One of these teams is being eliminated. One is moving on. It is time for our draft.
Yeah.
Back into the draft.
TLC is almost tacos too.
I was like, what could... I was actually trying to think, is TLC an acronym for something taco related?
We've been calling them tender, loving care.
Cheese? Oh, yeah, tender, loving.
Yeah, but taco, lettuce, cheese.
Tender,
tortilla, lettuce, cheese.
Oh, tortilla,
there you go.
Cheese.
It's just ingredients.
Which one do I need more in my life? Tender, love, and care, or tortilla, lettuce, and cheese? I'm kind of going towards food.
If it's only tortilla, lettuce, cheese, I feel like we need like a couple more ingredients from there. That's where the H tends to come in. Team Liquid Honda Challengers. What is the H? Guacamole. There we go.
Sauce.
Oh, I don't know if that's what I want for dinner tonight. But we are going rapidly through this draft as well, Gabby. We already have one. Yeah, we got the Rakan early on for Kim Down, as the Thresh was still available for them, but they are going to be going back over to the Rakan. Kim Down had some rough early gameplay with the Rakan, but did bring it back a little bit later on, whereas this time we see the Sejuani early once again for CLG, and it has been a flex. Kevy's played it once, Jenkins has played it the other time. As we start looking towards the rest of the series, remember, whoever loses here will be going home in 9th place, and neither of these teams have seen that in quite a while. I know CLG, I believe they got upset a couple of Proving Grounds ago where they had a really rough time, but after that, it really has been a lot of success for both of these rosters.
Which means that pressure is still high for them to continue on in the lower bracket where you're always going to be in that elimination territory from here on out. And speaking a bit more on that Rakan lock-in for Team Liquid Challengers, it's also a steal away from Breezy. Mish and Breezy just came off of the game that basically kept pushing into their 100% win rate on those particular picks, and CLG did elect to make sure to still take the Xayah because you can then pair her with some other type of engage, which in this case is the Nautilus coming through.
Yeah, and the Zeri ban, the Zeri pick is coming through here for Arrow, so not necessarily going to be the Draven Cash Storm like we were potentially predicting previously, but I am very fascinated to see that this Gnar ban is coming through right here for CLG. I keep being surprised if people are banning Gnar and then picking Cho'Gath, because it's like Cho'Gath does totally fine in that lane, but it is a spot now where one of the big questions that we've had for Team Liquid Challengers is when do they put Bradley on carries versus when do they put him on tanks. Obviously, the Sion's a lot harder to play now into the Cho'Gath, but the Fiora, it is very easy to go for these opportunities to shut down the Cho'Gath, and as we see the Cassante locked in and the Cassiopeia also locked in here for Team Liquid, this is a gauntlet being thrown down by AP. It has been his most successful champion. He's had more pop-off moments on this character than almost anybody else, even totally crushing Ryoma and solo carrying a game against Evil Geniuses early in the split.
These are the picks that you save for the moments when you need them most. When it is that last game of the series, you know that APA can fall into a level of comfort there. It's also great when you don't continuously use those champions. One, because then you can usher out a lot of bans, but then two, people start to predict that coming out. So a little bit of that, oh yes, this is something that we're going to be working with. I'm sure CLG, though, did account for that in their prep, and Copy is keeping in mind, all right, APA is throwing down the gauntlet, see what I can do in return. On the Talia now, able to bring that effect to other lanes. But we got the lock-in. Some comfort on both sides. Joshi, what you think?
I feel like I've said this quite a bit, but I like CLG's draft a little bit better when you think about how these two compositions are going to be crashing into each other, right? APA and Arrow, these champions are both so good at kiting backwards, but when they have to kite forwards, when they have to chase down people on the other side, it becomes really difficult. You get a lot of extra effective range when you're trading for both Xayah and Talia. And Team Liquid Challengers are going to have to be really careful that they don't overextend their battle lines, that they actually have all of their carries right on the heels of those people who are diving in. And so it's a tougher way to actually play the game out, but if it is successful, Team Liquid can also dominate. But, I mean, that's what we were looking at. It is a much tougher position. And Meech starting things off a little bit rough. Guys, you can't just press F to dance anymore. That was taken out in Season 2.
Well,
it was never a thing. That's how you got people to flash before the game started.
Yeah, I remember the good old
Guys, press D to
Press F
dance.
Yeah, press. Are you a D or F Flash?
I'm an F for Flash.
Yeah,
and
me
D for
too.
Dick Knight.
Yes, yes.
Teleport.
Like, F is the letter it starts with. I don't understand why it was ever.
Yeah.
Debate.
Are you a? Do you put your ring finger on Q or on W?
Yeah. See, I wanted to switch what I do. I put it on W. And I tried
there you
but I
go.
also rebind a lot of stuff to my mouse because I have small hands. So
Fair.
I do have a really hard time reaching across my keyboard for things.
I've always found it very funny, like the difference, because like people who play shooters primarily before they come over typically put their ring finger on Q, and people who didn't play shooters primarily will oftentimes put their ring finger on W. But yeah, ultimately it's just like there are benefits and drawbacks to both, and I'm sure Twitch chat is now going to be in a vicious argument about like, no, Joshi is dumb, you should be putting your pinky on Q or your pinky on the shift key, and ultimately it's like, great, dude, like, whatever works for you.
There's so many things you can do. I mean, I'm weird. I actually have completely different setups based on the game I'm playing because I play League right-handed, but I play all shooters left-handed. So I actually have different
weird.
mouse that I switch between. I tried switching. Well, let me. I was like, wait, this is a whole tangent I can go down. But the TLDR is, I tried doing the lefty setup for League after playing right-handed, and I could not make the switch. So.
Well, we'll
Now,
see
here we
how the
are.
switch starts coming through. Team Liquid didn't really get to do anything in the last game, but now, again, we touched on the fact that APA is now on the Cassiopeia, one of their specialty picks, and one of the things that we definitely talked about with APA when he did come on to Raising an A every Tuesday at 8 p.m. PST, has been one of the things where when you play these characters that are not necessarily going to be as popular, that you don't see as often in solo queue, is you tend to know their limits a lot better than the people that you are playing up against. And so this is definitely going to be a position where Team Liquid are really relying on that, and also showcasing a lot of faith now in this relative rookie in APA, as Hobby points out, right? Bradley, he's been playing a lot of tanks recently, not necessarily putting the same kind of faith in the one veteran who's had back-to-back Proving Grounds championships.
I do enjoy the narrative that erupts around a lot of top laners because I feel like you know who the ones that like to play aggressively are from the early days of their career. So that with Bradley kind of being locked into these tanks, but doing what he needs to do for the squad as they face a potential opportunity for victory if they bring this game under their control. But does have a really difficult opponent in Jenkins. We've talked about how much of a threat he can be in the top lane, but also as a leader for the team. Has Heavy here if Bradley tries to push forward any more than he needs to.
Yeah, and at the same time you see Mir, he was hanging out in the bottom lane for a little while, didn't actually go for a full-on gank, but now looking to come into the mid lane, doesn't have a whole lot of mana, didn't have a whole lot of HP on APA to play with, so both junglers just going to be backing away. Teleports will be expended here by APA, but overall, relatively calm early game. We haven't seen the same kind of almost, you know, crazy level of ganks that Mir oftentimes goes for in the bottom side in order to try and make some of these big plays happen. And to CLG's credit, I mean, they're just not giving any opportunities for Team Liquid to go for any of these plays. We haven't seen rotations down from APA either to go for early ganks, but now we're seeing Breezy already top lane, and Bradley's like, oh no.
Breezy's here, Kevy is here. Lock with the hook, Bradley under the turret. And Mir is nearby. So it was looking for a moment like Heavy and Mir were going to make contact, but it was also making this play happen over on top. But Bradley getting to safety, did not have to use Ghost either. So no kills just yet, getting to the 5-minute mark now where Dragon's about to spawn, but clearly no early presence down there from the junglers. So now the opportunity is available for Team Liquid to get some of these wardings down around Riverside safely.
Yeah, and to Team Liquid's credit as well, you are seeing that Arrow and Kim Down are having a much better laning phase this time around than last time. Looking for more of these opportunities to jump on Kevy.
Oh, walking right on in and right on out you go with the flash used. First blood to Arrow, which means Team Liquid are feeling good about taking this dragon.
Yeah, taking down the jungler early on. This is the kind of plays that Team Liquid were really looking for earlier on in this series, trying to make plays happen right off the bat. And Team Liquid, I mean, they expend 2 flashes to make that happen, so there is a big target currently painted on APA's back in particular. He has no boots, he's not fast yet, doesn't have any mobility built into his kit, and as soon as Kevy hits level 6, like, ooh, it's payback time.
Dang, Team Liquid, I mean, after that last game where CLG were very much in the driver's seat, have to be gaining a bit of confidence now from that previous play and getting some of this early stacking, but CLG still a threat that you gotta think about and how they can keep themselves very much working through the strengths that they've brought forward, right? You have Meech on this comfort, you have Kevy on the Sejuani with a lot of experience on the pick to be able to affect the rest of the lanes and be somebody that can tank later on in the fights as well against the threats that Team Liquid decide to throw forward.
Yeah, and as we kind of look at it, right, one of the big things that you always look at is when the shot callers are weak for a team, it is so much more difficult for them to try and make some of these big plays. We know that the 2 big shot callers here for CLG are typically Jenkins and Kevy are some of the most vocal members when the game is actually going underway. Putting Kevy behind here does impact their comms a fair amount because when you feel weak, it's a lot harder to say, oh, we can actually look for some of these plays. And so, great stuff from Team Liquid so far. Again, Bradley dodging out on that 3-man gank earlier on, and also just picking up that kill onto Kevy as well. But remember, Sejuani getting put a little bit behind isn't the end of the world. As long as you have that ultimate, you can start fishing for some of these aggressive plays. And remember, next time that seismic shove happens, it's probably going to be preceded by an ultimate coming out from Sejuani.
Yeah, seeing the jungler and the mid laner be able to link up and use their abilities in full effect, that's when you start to see the impact that a pick like Sejuani can have coming on through. But you do have to be wary about what APA will eventually be able to bring on a pick on which he has kind of rattled opponents before. Right now, getting harassed in the lane as expected, but still keeping this farm nice and even between the two. And a lot of time that they can actually spend just trying to make sure that the other is very much known where they are at all times, because Talia can go ahead and roam, same with APA, so you want to keep a lock on these mid laners.
Yeah. So far, I mean, as the first blue buff does go over, Kevy has also hit level 6. This is where you got to start being very careful here for Team Liquid's mid lane, but they're also roaming their support up faster in order to try and contest for this Rift Herald and CLG. They do have the Cho'Gath to try and go for some kind of smite steal, but they are down a member for a little while.
Yeah, the ones that are here are waiting for Breezy to come on through. Kim down using the Blast Cone to get here just a little bit quicker. Bradley zoning. Mir focusing down onto Rift Herald, is able to secure it. So even though ultimate used by Kevy cannot follow up on CLG's side, so Team Liquid walk away with both the Dragon earlier and now the Rift Herald.
Yeah, good job from Bradley as well to use the Unstoppable to just tank up the ultimate from Kevy and back away. So small advantages are going over to Team Liquid. And honestly, like, these games have felt, all 3 of them have felt super different so far, Gabby, right? The first one was so much about Team Liquid going for some of these big plays, but then just getting completely blocked in some of their engages, whereas this one, you know, it's much more skirmishy, much more control heavy, kind of like the second one, but it's Team Liquid who are actually calling the shots right now. They're the ones who are trying to be really aggressive and picking out individual members, and we were saying that Arrow, APA, their flashes were going to be major targets for Kevy, but they haven't even looked so far ever since Kevy has gotten level 6. The only ultimate was around that Rift Herald. And it feels as though Team Liquid getting away for free with some of these objectives and some of these kills.
And because of that, they were even able to venture into the enemy jungle a bit, start establishing some more of the wards. There's still a response in warding that Copy and Kevy have dropped down in favor of CLG, so some neutrality there. But Team Liquid just making sure to keep up the map pressure off of not only denying plays like that one up top, but then gaining advantages off the single kill that they had. Of course, as you had mentioned before, Kevy being a little behind on the Sejuani isn't something that they have to worry about too much. Really looking for how those future ultimates can be utilized to really disrupt the enemy team, because Bradley is not always going to be able to eat that up himself.
So as we start looking at the rest of the game, we do have another Dragon spawning here in about 15 seconds. Team Liquid are also moving in force. Both teams are bringing everybody but the top laners to this fight, and as Mir uses Smite to take away the Scuttle Crab. We'll have that little bit of extra vision, and both junglers hanging out down here, but Mir is looking to be a bit more aggressive than Kevy is, and Kevy instead going to be doing the back cycle things like, ooh, am I actually going to stick around? Are we going to be backing away? And the answer is yes, Kevy is going to be giving up another dragon here to Team Liquid. I love the position actually from Kim down, waiting to see if anybody is going to go around that bend to, get a little bit of damage down before heading out.
Yeah, it seems that CLG have decided, okay, second dragon over to Team Liquid. We don't really need to contest here. You don't necessarily need to contest on the third one either, but Team Liquid making sure they continue to have control over this early game. It is ample Hex Gates that have now spawned on the Rift, so that will impact the speed at which we see rotations coming through.
Yeah. I wish all of the Rifts were like Hex Tech, right? Where you just had an entirely new aspect to the Rift. Chem Tech is great. I actually really like Infernal as well, but we're getting kind of off topic. This is still a spot where Team Liquid and CLG are still playing for their lives here in the tournament. Team Liquid, they're looking for another play.
There's the stun of Kemi coming through with the ultimate flash over the wall. A follow-up from Mir. Looking to go in with a Cyclone, and Mir getting the second kill for Team Liquid, this time on the mid laner, and dropping down the Rift Herald to continue the force of this impact.
Even though APA isn't getting the kills, they are still getting a fair amount of money just from these assists. They make sure they grab the plate for themselves off the crash of the Rift Herald. APA, has effectively gotten a kill between the assist and the crash, so good stuff there coming through for Team Liquid. They scale very, very well, and so far, it doesn't matter if it's hard to chase down a bunch of members if you never actually take these front-to-back team fights. They're finding picks before anything's happening.
So Team Liquid, when coming into the series, it seemed like most people did favor CLG just because of their consistency throughout the split, though Team Liquid did give plenty of reason to believe in them as well. And then you see the first game and you think, okay, Team Liquid, they should be able to follow that up in game 2. Then you have CLG reminding you of why they are a favored team and why there's such high expectations for them. But then now we're just zipping right on back. Team Liquid having such great plays and denials, stacking up a couple dragons, making that play happen with that pick mid means that they get a nice generous place for them to be able to drop that Rift Herald from that top play. And now 1.5k gold lead for them at 13 minutes. They're still sitting in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and one of the strongest players they have in the league has been Mir so far. Hasn't really felt like it so far this series, but it has been true with the way that Mir has been pathing around, is an expert team fighter, and now has a bit of a lead, is on that Mythic as one of the first to actually get that item completed, and so far has been super crucial to both of the kills that Team Liquid have actually grabbed. It's part of why we constantly look at them to be one of the most first bloodingest members of the entire league. But Team Liquid, big question for us now is how do they continue these, right? It is a spot where Xayah on one item is very strong. Talia is also pretty good on one item as well, whereas the Zarya on one item is kind of and Cassiopeia really relies so much on finding those big opportunities with the poison, but Kevy,
To escape, and luckily because Meech and Breezy with that wave pushed up, Kevy can find a path to at least join them, but Arrow and the rest of the squad look to continue up on it. Going with the ultimate activated. The movement from Kevy is good enough. They kept calm, cool, and collected. APA not able to collapse quickly enough, so CLG keeping themselves in it.
I did not see the grand entrance from Kim Down come out, so I have to imagine they got immediately stunned out by Kevy's ultimate as we saw the flash come out from Kim Down. Honestly, good stuff coming through from CLG to get Kevy out of that situation, but it is still about 1,000 gold lead, and when we have a minute left coming into the next dragon here, Gabby, it does feel, again, as though if Team Liquid can get here set up first, it is very, very difficult to engage upon them. APA and the Miasma, something that we haven't really looked at a whole lot, is going to really stunt a lot of the things that CLG will be looking to try and do. Kevy can't jump in over it. It's hard for Meech to walk through because of all the damage it does, the extra slow that it will provide. And CLG, instead, they're shifting their attention up towards the top side of the map to try and contest this one before Team Liquid can get all their crucial backs in.
They still have time of about 40 seconds until that dragon becomes something to think about. So yes, trading it out this opportunity to ward for making a presence known on this top side. You get some intel that TL are in the vicinity, so CLG have to be careful on how they venture forward to try and match some of this warding by Team Liquid. But they are sticking to one another pretty aggressively and biding their time to see what Team Liquid want to make with this play.
This is good from Arrow, going all the way around, but it's too slow.
Silence onto one, the knockback, and the knockback response as well. Kim down, marked down really low, and eventually eliminated upon the entry. Jenkins has to flash out. Team Liquid, they keep their sights back over towards the central location of the Riverside, and enough of a disengage so that they can get back onto this Rift Herald.
Honestly, great timing attack coming through from CLG to try and find an advantage before Arrow can actually rejoin the team, going all the way around. But we get to see the power of the Cyclone. We get to see the power of the Petrifying Gaze coming out from Team Liquid, and the kill ends up going over. It's a big trade of gold here on the map by Team Liquid in exchange for that first dragon. The one Hextech dragon is kind of whatever. Blowing open some of the map here, getting a ton more pressure is going to matter a lot for Team Liquid. You get these long lanes for Cassante, for Cassiopeia to chase people down in.
And I do like their decision to immediately drop this Rift Herald so they can increase the chance of getting this second charge onto the tier 2. Jenkins and Kevy rotating as fast as they can.
They're all here.
Knock up onto one, but the response is so good. Kim down, going on in with the quickness. CLG, they don't lose their lives, but they lose the turret.
Yeah, 3,000 gold lead already coming through. This is typically what you will trade for 2 dragons at this point of the game, but Team Liquid are the one with 2 dragons. They are unequivocally very strong in this game. They have these scaling elements coming through, and as we take a look at the items that are about to be purchased, you see that APA has completed up the Seraphs, whereas Copy still only sitting on components. That makes APA so tanky coming into some of these upcoming team fights. And again, this is kind of a difference of experience coming through from Copy and APA, right? We were saying at the beginning of the year, APA is a player who should be getting more academy opportunities, more challenger opportunities, whereas Copy was somebody that we were looking at potentially getting LCS time. But right now, it's been APA has had a really good game 3, even though Copy got the better of him in game 2.
And going to a pick that is an APA specialty, very much hoping in doing so, and I can't wait to see when some of these later team fights break out. You get a good old Petrifying Gaze and set up the squad. It's a nice thing to see from what Team Liquid has in their arsenal as they progress through this game, because they're already in such a great position with this 3,000k gold lead and how much they were able to get off of that Rift Herald play. Just look how open that top lane is. APA even ushering some more of that wave forward.
Yeah. And there's lots of members of Team Liquid up here in the top side of the map. No dragon to play around for 3 more minutes, and it is so hard to try and face check this snake. You never know whose boot it's going to be in, and looking for that flash. He doesn't know that he has been spotted out just quite yet. Obviously, at this point, it is relatively obvious, but Team Liquid has done a good job getting Mir very strong in this game, and you're seeing that they are trying to move around using the vision control that they think they have, but constantly getting spotted out by this ward in the pixel brush means that this potential attack not likely to work.
And CLG have done a good job of keeping a lot of their wards down. Even earlier when Team Liquid was able to gain most control of the jungle, CLG had dropped some deeper wards to keep some kind of eye on where Mir was coming from. And that has saved this from being a very frequent pick opportunity for Team Liquid in some cases. And now, because of that, everyone going back to a bit of a neutral state. We still have quite some time before any dragon comes into contention, but Team Liquid was just waiting for that wave so they can finally finish off this mid turret that they've been whittling down and was already sitting at 50% HP.
Yeah, opening up that part of the map, absolutely massive for Team Liquid. It gives you so many more opportunities to try and push it out before objective actually start or they spawn. So, CLG trying to trade up here in the top side of the map, but Team Liquid having none of it, sending multiple people up to try and knock them away, and APA will be able to grab even more. But Copy should equalize here on items. The big question then that I have is, how are Meech and Arrow doing in terms of gold? They have about 30 more seconds in order to clear out all of these minions to actually get back on through, and wow, look at that. Arrow's got a lot more to spend than Meech will. Arrow might actually get to their next item before the upcoming dragon, which is going to be a big benchmark coming through here for Team Liquid. Just having Arrow on 2 items means that they will be a much more relevant damage threat than Meech will.
And we've seen what Xerys can do when ramping up and just getting more and more online within these team fight scenarios. And Arrow on this pick, really building into some sort of a threat against Cloud, or not Cloud9, CLG in this case. But Team Liquid, I mean, we've just seen that gold lead continuing to expand. We're under the 1 minute mark for this dragon, which is why that rotation around the riverside to get these wards down is so important. And CLG being very cautious in how they're able to step up against Team Liquid, who right now over on the Baron is where they're keeping their attention.
Yeah, and they have the AD carry, the one not actually participating. It's just going to be Mira and APA here. And I mean, the Snake does a ton of damage to the Worm as well. They're going to be hitting this one down. It's going to be going down without anything coming through from CLG. A fantastic sneak, a fantastic sneaky Snake coming through for Team Liquid. They will be right back out on the map momentarily, and Team Liquid get to back away. They get to spend all the money to teleport from APA to not give over too much control of the map right off the bat. Beautiful call coming through from Team Liquid, because CLG, they're the only ones who are better at splitting the map than Team Liquid, and already Team Liquid are here yet again to fight for another dragon.
And what a terrible noise for CLG to hear from the darkness, as Team Liquid now have this Baron buff ahead of this dragon fight. CLG so light on their feet to get back over the wall to just escape the pressure that Team Liquid can now force upon them. I mean, look at this. The windows in which CLG can find openings just feel like they are getting smaller and smaller as Team Liquid continue to increase the ways that they create advantages.
3 dragons to Dragon Soul, forcing Jenkins to flash there as well. How much can Team Liquid actually get off of this objective? They only have 2 minutes left, but they have a couple of easy places to attack. They should be able to get at least this bottom lane turret. I mean, this Baron happened so early on in the game that there are a lot of objectives to try and take, but you aren't necessarily strong enough to bully your way through it. It still takes a lot of damage to actually take some of these down, and so Team Liquid completely invading the eastern quadrant of the jungle here for CLG, making it difficult for CLG to try and contest either of these waves at any given point. And Team Liquid pick up the easy one. The next question is, can they get any of the harder ones coming through? They have a minute and a half left.
So what do you do, Joshi, if you're CLG right now and you just are so aware of the threats that TL have?
Yeah. Well, look at Copy.
Control.
Copy is already starting to try and set up a Weaver's Wall, because you really need Copy to be in a position where you can actually try and split some of these team fights. It has been so reliant on CLG at the beginning of the game to have Team Liquid in a position where they have to engage onto you. You can play this pressure game that CLG have had so much success with, but now Copy, I mean, he's looking for another way to split up the fight so he can kill the front line, but that going wide probably means that those ideas are dashed.
And you can look at the way that Mir and Bradley are rotating around to kind of keep eyes on Copy and where he could be throwing that wall from. And because there's not really a proper positioning off of that push for him to throw the ultimate, then Team Liquid just continue to push up on this pressure, clearing out the mid turret. They've got the tier 2. Now they're back over on the bot side looking to execute on the same.
Yeah, and that's a lot of damage.
Oh, Root and Morin in Feast territory. CLG looking to keep Team Liquid off of this, and with enough poke, they are doing just that. A good half chunk onto Arrow, but buff's still good, still in effect as far as what they were able to gain off of it before this expiration.
Yeah, I mean, Meech does a really good job by stepping forward in that position to at least defend this last turret. That would have been an extra, again, effectively 2 kills getting picked up by Team Liquid on the side of the map. So CLG, they find themselves down 7,000 gold. You asked what they needed to do. When this team finds success, it is because Jenkins and Copy are playing opposite sides of a fight incredibly well. This is a front-to-back style of team composition from CLG. They are not winning either side lane because Bradley is able to wail away, and of course APA can sustain a lot of the damage that Copy is going to be doing. And both these guys are up a significant amount of gold. CLG, it feels as though their one condition of 1-3-1 is largely gone. Their second win condition of Copy and Jenkins is really hard to actually try and pilot, because if Copy is playing the other side of the fight, Team Liquid can dogpile on the side that he's not.
And with all of that in mind, CLG's biggest hope right now is just to try and reestablish some kind of vision control in the jungle so they can make their movement through this map a bit safer to ensure that the waves aren't pushing too hard against them, because Team Liquid had previously had such a dominance over the Vision game. But CLG, it's a 7.3k gold lead that they're fighting off against right now. They haven't taken down a single turret. You can see there is a weakness on that top side turret over on Team Liquid's side, but CLG not able to find a path to really be able to whittle down and finish any of them off.
Yeah, and this is definitely, it would be a disappointing exit for CLG. This was a team that all the other teams have been saying was good. CLG have made top 8 at the very least in the last 2 Proving Grounds in 2022 summer and in spring. They do not want to make an early exit here, especially with how much excitement we had going into this roster. Team Liquid, I mean, they have an even stronger dynasty to try and defend. It was different players, only one returning, but if they can start having a strong impression, even with some of their more rookie players like AP and Kim down, it gives us a lot more hope for this team to potentially go deep and even have a lot more excitement for them going into summer. Remember, it's not entirely about winning. It is still about having all this time to learn. Team Liquid can be backing away, and they will be back in time for this Dragon as well.
And in addition to, yes, you have the same top laner, but you have the same coach. You have still those same pressures that players do feel when they know that they're walking into a legacy. And I think that Team Liquid Challengers has done a great job of doing so in Academy and Proving Grounds, and now looking to continue that mark here in the NACL. But again, young players that can gain a lot, and when you get that opportunity to see what they're learning from series to series, because playoffs is such a different environment, it's very exciting for those watching.
Oh, Kevy.
Like, hopefully this fight is going to be as Kevy goes over the wall.
APA!
Little pile of Team Liquid all the way on the opposite side. Team Liquid blasting on down. Arrow through the wall, coming on through with Lightning Rush still at the ready. The knockups from the Cyclone and around. Breezy flashing on over, has to dredge line onto the turret to get out and leave a teammate behind. CLG blasted open. Team Liquid, yo, really making an impact on this game and on this series with the ace.
And it's the rookie APA coming through, a massive flash petrifying gaze, which is going to open the base here of CLG. Ian APA Stars absolutely taking that game into his own hands, and Team Liquid, who cares about the Dragon? We have a Nexus to destroy. They're going to take down both Nexus turrets, and this should be the game as TLC looking to advance.
Just now, CLG spawning back up. Team Liquid take down the Scrim Gods and keep their lives ahead in this bracket.
Honestly, great stuff coming through from Team Liquid. They're clutching up, right? And this is the second time that the CLG roster has been upset in this playoffs bracket. TSM did it first, Team Liquid the second one coming through. Great stuff coming through from both of these squads, but Team Liquid will advance in the lower bracket. We said, I mean, the tarot cards were the ones who were saying it, whoever wins this game will be able to go on to play FlyQuest in a couple more rounds, but Team Liquid, they got to beat Golden Guardians first.
But one way to gain some confidence in doing so, just walking away with such a dominant win in game number 3 of this series. Congratulations to Team Liquid Challengers for advancing. On the other side of this break, we will be hearing from the APA in the interview, so stay tuned.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Verizon post-game interview. APA, thank you so much for joining me, especially after that victory. How are you feeling after that 2-1 win?
Definitely a lot of like adrenaline. You know, when I got the flash R at the end, there was a lot of screaming.
All right, we'll have to see that if you guys have your own stream. We need to see that comms later, but at this point now, too, in playoffs, it was kind of a little bit of a surprise to see Team Liquid battling out in this bottom bracket, let alone going up against CLG. How were you feeling when you saw that you're knocked down to this lower bracket and gonna have to fight your way up from there?
Well, I think the standings from regular season were fake. Like, just to put it bluntly, like, I don't think we're a 9th place team. I think we're much, much higher than that. I think we're contending for the title, so I think it was just like, I don't want to say unlucky because it's our doing, but like not our best showing in regular season, and I think we're coming to win the title.
Okay, I love that confidence. And then we saw that it was knocked down by Cloud9 out of all teams. So I would love to hear from you in that series. What have to get knocked down if this is going to be a team that is going to take the title, is going to go all the way?
I think Cloud9 is very good just from their laners, but I think past laning phase, they aren't all that good. I just think they like wall gap a lot. So I think if we get good matchups, lane fine, I think we'll destroy them.
Hey, and then at this point now, you say this is a winning team, like you're gonna go all the way. Is there anything that you think can stop you guys? Not even any team, but something that maybe Team Liquid as a whole, your roster has to be working past, or?
I think we're still not the most consistent team. We've stepped up a lot for sure. But I mean, just like game 2, we played very scared. We didn't fight like pretty much at all. So I think just ourselves and battling inconsistency.
The game 2, it was, you know, it wasn't the victory that you guys want in that one. So when you're looking at that game 2, looking ahead to that game 3, how are you then adapting? What are your comms like going into that third final game?
Just resetting. Like we all like went outside, just grabbed some water, and just talked about what we want to change going forward, and just having like composure going into game 3.
Then going on forward, it's going to be Golden Guardians that you face next in the lower bracket. How are you feeling about this matchup?
I think we've actually scrimmed them a lot, and I think within the recent scrims that I've seen, we're just going to destroy them as a duo.
Oh wow! All right, no mercy whatsoever. Okay. Love that. And last thing, APA, I know that you are known for your Aurelion Soul, even if we didn't get to see it on the day. So I have to ask, who would win in a fight? 1 billion lions or Aurelion Soul?
Aurelion Soul for sure.
But, and Joshi brought this up earlier, lions are kind of early game focused, might have a tough time there.
We'll figure it out. We'll be fine.
You're fine. All right. Before I let you go, APA, any shout-outs, any final words?
Yeah, of course. Shout out to the TL sponsors like Honda. You can see it. Shout out to my family. It's actually my mom's birthday today. Like shout out to her. Love them both. Just thanks to TL in general, and then shout out to the Maryville guys.
AP, thank you so much. Have a good rest of your night. Okay.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Back to the desk for us. The birthday victory for AP's mom. I love that.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Stacey.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. So, you know, APA just saying we'll figure it out. What about the always plan ahead core to his name? What do you mean just figure it out?
Well,
wouldn't you be more...
I also love that we'll figure it out. Like, this is a scenario that we're going to run into on the Rift. All of a sudden, a billion lions are going to spawn in, and you're just going to have to see what happens.
Yeah, it'll depend a lot on, like, how much HP the lions have. You know, how much damage do they do? Like, how many of them can you fit on the board? Like, I don't know if Ian has an idea of how many a billion really is. That's a lot of lions.
Right, we're sitting on a fire idea over here, all right? Load on to Summoner's Rift 1 billion lions. Not great victory, though, coming out. Do Liquid to be moving on in the bracket. I cannot stress again that this was so tough to see as a matchup going into our bottom bracket. But I guess majority of our teams have to leave sooner rather than later. So Team Liquid, they're going to be moving on to face Golden Guardians next, who we saw take that victory over Immortals earlier on.
And as we take a look at it, it is worth noting that of our top 8 seeds, only one of them, CLG, the only one not to make it into our actual top 8. So maybe it is Team Liquid, the one team that is, you know, standings are a little bit fake, like APA was saying. But I also want to give a quick congratulations to Wildcard and Fear, because both of them will be dodging out on the promotion relegations tournament that will be happening next time. 4 provisional teams have already gotten knocked down to the bottom, or have been knocked out of the tournament, which means that Team Liquid first, CLG Faith and Fly Fam will all, and AoE will all need to defend their spots coming into the next split.
Yeah, AoE Gold taking that loss over on the Challengers League channel to FlyQuest, getting knocked down there. Love to see, though, the success that other professional teams are having in Wildcard and Fear Cincinnati. Cincinnati Fear still in that upper bracket, by the way. That's... all right.
Perfect.
What's up?
Good stuff. I think that's going to be a good match. I also think Dignitas versus 100 Thieves is going to be pretty fire.
We gotta.
Threes have been looking really good recently as well. Dingatons, they are barely scraping by some of their wins, which gives me a lot more faith here in 100 Thieves. But Dingatons, we know as they continue to get healthier, as they continue to figure things out, as your cat continues knocking things down, hopefully it'll still be a great matchup.
They're
having a good time.
They're
having a time. I don't know. I'm renting, so hopefully they calm down a little bit.
Hopefully.
I mean, we were talking about all the fire matchups. There's definitely a lot of great things on the horizon for our playoffs here in the LCS NACL. But that is it for today. Gabby, Joshi, y'all were awesome. So thank you so much, producers. You rock, and thank you so much for everyone at home tuning in. Make sure to come back tomorrow for some awesome League of Legends action. But until then, have a great night, and hopefully your pets do not destroy your home.
Have a safe Halloween.